Hello my friends, let's start this video from not a good news. Ukraine shut down its own Bayraktar TB2 drone over the capital city of Kyiv. I've published the full video on my Telegram channel, so I highly recommend you to subscribe for me over there, and I can upload something that I cannot upload on YouTube, and for more updates please join my Telegram. So the drone was over the central part in the Kyiv, but not over the residential area. I would say it was flying near to the park between the Dnieper River, and our guys decided to shut down it, and later on I'll tell you why. So here I'll just show you some of the pictures of the video. So it's been shut down by the ground-to-air manpad, the portable air defense system, and went down to the ground. Unfortunately, debris hit some of the area and they caused the damage, but luckily no one was injured. And after I saw that video, it was understandable for me that it is the Bayraktar drone. Well, Russia also has the analog of the Bayraktar. It's called the Corsair 4. So this is the Russian drone. It is smaller and it has the retractable landing gear, and also it has 2 blades propeller. But on the screenshot from the video you may see the 3-blade propeller, so one is here, one is there, so the third one should be over here, and also non-retractable landing gear here, and probably it's somewhere here. The only landing gear that retracts on the Bayraktar TB2 is the nose gear. Also Bayraktar has the gimbal on the lower side, you can clearly see it, and it has 4 points for the ammunition. Plus the wing of the drone goes smoothly into the fuselage, and on the Russian drone it's like that with 90 degrees straight away. You may clearly spot it on this picture, so no smooth lines for the Russian drone. And this is not the gimbal of the Russian drone, it's just the big antenna they have on this particular modification. Our Air Force was silent for some time, but later on they recognized that they've shut down their own TB2 Bayraktar that cost around $5 million. So why did it happen? As officials say, Bayraktar lost the control, probably because of the technical malfunction. The investigation is ongoing, and it was flying uncontrollably over the Kyiv city. And later on, our air defense understood that they are unable to establish the control over this drone, so they announced the air range just over the Kyiv area, and they've shut down the drone. They've tried to eliminate the risks, so the drone was shut down over not so populated area, but unfortunately it fell into the populated area, and as I say to you, luckily no one was hurt. So it's very sad that this drone lost connection, but also it shows that we have the Bayraktar drones in Ukrainian army, because Russians said long time ago that they've destroyed all of the Bayraktars. Alright guys, the rest of the news are quite positive for Ukraine. For example, we have the information of successful advancement of Ukrainian forces near to Vuhledar. Vuhledar is located on the southeast part of Ukraine, so here's the city, and as you remember, obviously Russia tried to reach this town with their tanks and armored vehicles during the winter campaign, and they lost all of that in the minefields close to Vuhledar, Mykilske and Pavlivka. Unfortunately, they've took Pavlivka under their control in the beginning of the winter. But Vuhledar not just holds. Today it's been confirmed that Ukraine started the counterattack, moving Russian forces away. We don't have the update for the military map so far, but the information was also confirmed by Ukrainian side, as well as it was firstly reported by the Russian military bloggers, who are usually located at that particular areas, and they have their own Telegram channels and other social media resources, so they report the information quite fast. But it's better not to trust them at first and just to take this information in account, and later on, if it's confirmed by other resources, okay, this information was correct. So the same stuff was happening near to Kharkiv when the Russian military bloggers called about the counteroffensive from Ukrainian side in their Telegram channels, but the Russian army didn't react to that, and the result you all know. Kharkiv region was mostly freed by the Ukrainian army. So we may have the same result over here. We know from the interceptions of the phone calls that the Russian soldiers are scared of the future Ukrainian counteroffensive that may start at any day. Well, maybe not just now, because the weather is not the best one. Yes, it's getting drier and drier day by day, so we need at least several days for the good weather for the soil to be more or less robust. Plus, the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, is visiting our allies in Europe. He's speaking about more supplies to support the Ukrainian army. So for me, it's hard to tell in which way we start the counterattack in this area. It's not the big one, the counterattack that we all waiting for. No, it's the small one, just to understand the positions of the Russian army. And from the information we have, the fight is ongoing on the Russian positions. Russians try to eliminate Vuhledar town using the aviation bombs, but unsuccessfully. Why Vuhledar is so important? Because there is the railroad not far away from this area, and we may use the artillery systems to target it. That is why Russia cannot send reinforcements or supplies to this region using the Rostov Oblast. That's why it's crucial for Russia to take the city, but as you can see, it's unsuccessful. This time Ukraine starts the small counterattacks, pushing Russians away from the town and taking more ground. So really, Vuhledar for Russia is a big pain. That is why they tried to get this town under their control during the winter campaign unsuccessfully. I think that Bakhmut is not that important compared to Vuhledar if we speak about the supplies. And by the way, about Bakhmut, if we go to the military map, so it was yesterday and it is today. Even though Wagner's claim that they take more land, today you can see that they were pushed down a little bit towards the north, and this area, the gray area, shrinked a little. It means that Russians are not that assaultive, let's say, as they were before on the north part, but still they have the potential to move forward. Today Prigozhin again said that they're in lack of the artillery shells. Maybe Prigozhin was waiting for those artillery shells. This accident happened in Russia, so one of the tracks hit the other track that was carrying the fuel, and they were lucky that all of that stuff didn't explode. As you can see, Russia uses the standard lorries or the standard tracks to carry the explosives. However, they have all the required signs to classify the dangerous goods inside, so I would say it's legal to transport the ammunition in that way. Because I'm familiar with that, we also transported the dangerous goods on our airplanes. As you can see, it's fully loaded. I wonder if the shells are new. It doesn't look like they are new. They may still have lots of the ammunition on the storages. The boxes are quite rusty. You may see the metal parts, and the wood is not new either. And this is the particular place where this track hit this track, and yes, it wasn't the explosion. And one more traffic accident happened today near to St. Petersburg. This is the Bastion system that is similar to Iskander. It carries ground-to-ground missiles that may be fired for the long distance. I wish we had those in Ukrainian army. And as you can see from the star and the stripe marking, this vehicle was heading towards the Victory Parade rehearsal. It hit the safety traffic fence out there, so for sure Russia has one more loss at least on their parade. The last night wasn't calm for the Russian supplies. Remember how the drones hit the oil reservoirs in Taman over here? So there was one more drone attack in this area, also Kuban. Again, it was the big fire out there causing the damages to the oil storage. And Russians were not able to eliminate the fire during the daytime. We may find a place using the standard Google map. So let's zoom to the Krasnodar area, and here you will be able to find this oil storage facility. Again, very huge. And I guess that it's just the beginning of the drone attacks on the Russian supply facilities. It's the very smart move to cut the supplies even inside the Russian Federation to reduce the mobility of the Russian army in Ukraine. It also means that Ukraine is getting ready for the future counterattack. Moreover, it was the drone attack on the Belbek airfield close to Sevastopol today, so this is the very important airfield for Russia, and they based their state-of-art airplanes like Sukhoi Su-35 or Sukhoi Su-34 out there. Unfortunately, we are in lack of the information about the circumstances of the attack, whether the drones were hit by the Russian air defense or not, but locals reported that there were some drones, and also Russian officials reported as usual that they've shot down those drones. The butcher of Mariupol, the Russian general Mizintsev, who was dismissed from his position, is now in Wagner PMC. He got the status of one of the commanders of the Wagner forces. A few months ago there was the information published in some of the media resources saying that Prigozhin got the allies as Mizintsev and Surovikin inside the Russian army command. And those commanders helped Prigozhin to get more weaponry into his Wagner army. But now those generals were dismissed from their positions and they're not ruling this stuff any longer. Well, the general Surovikin is still inside the Russian army, but Mizintsev, as you can see, is now in Wagner army. It means that Shoigu together with Gerasimov want to get rid of Wagners as soon as possible, cutting the supplies for them and eliminating the allies. One more aviation bomb was found in Belgorod that apparently accidentally went off from the Russian bomber. It is the third confirmed case showing that Russia drops the bombs on their own citizens. And you're telling me about nukes, yeah? Alright, about the yesterday's drone attack on the Russian airfield in Bryansk, you can see the parking stand on that airfield, and two of the airplanes were damaged. One completely lost and the other got the shrapnel into the skin of the fuselage and into the wing. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the picture, but we have the report of that from the sources that were at this airport at that time. Unfortunately, without visual confirmation like photo or the video, I cannot state that this information is 100% correct. President Zelensky went to Netherlands today where he saw the weaponry and he met with other soldiers, the Ukrainian soldiers who passed the training and the Ukrainian soldiers who are on a rehabilitation after they got the wounds during this war. So there are also the Patriot systems, as you can see on the background, and other vehicles that we're gonna see very soon in Ukraine, and the hot visors, it's awesome. So this is some sort of the light armored vehicle with a nice turret on the top, and this is the off-road supply track. Unfortunately, I don't know the name of this weaponry, but I clearly see that it is the Patriot system here on the left. Also, there was the talk about the F-16's fighter jets. There is the group of the countries, including Netherlands, that are okay to supply those fighter jets to Ukraine at certain point. Now they're looking for the variants of how to supply those fighter jets to Ukraine. And about the yesterday's case of the drone attack on the Kremlin, some of the resources today wrote that it was the Russia that conducted the false flag operation. Well, as for me, there is no any solid evidence provided for this version or for the version that it was Ukraine. Until now, we cannot state 100% whether it was Russia or Ukraine. And yesterday I told you about the fight near to Bilohorivka that Russia suffered there a little. This factory over there is in a gray area, so it was confirmed that Russians took this factory under their control, but Ukraine used some sort of the weaponry to demolish the area with the Russian soldiers. And we have even some pictures provided, so I expect Russians to leave those positions and Ukraine to take them. And you know that not long time ago Russia took the central part of Marinka. Well, today Ukraine launched the artillery fire on this territory, and again we have the evidence provided by the drone camera. As you can see, the town is totally demolished. There are no buildings left in that area. Everything was destroyed by the Russian fire. And I've just found out the information that there is one more drone attack this evening on the Moscow city. Some sort of the administrative building caught the fire. My friends, again, I highly recommend you to subscribe for my Telegram channel. I use it as my alternate resource if something goes wrong with my YouTube channel. So you may always find me on Telegram. My friends, now press the like to this video, and also if you want to support my job, you may find the links in the video description below. You may also support me on Patreon or on sponsorship on this YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your awesome support and your help. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.